You know, I know a lot of herbalists now, and the thing is that I bring something to the table that the herbalists can't, or at least most of them can't. They all know about the herbs and how to use them and what they're good for, etc., etc. But they don't know where to find them. They don't know how to process them. I know how to find them and process them, so we exchange information. You know, now that I've got this herb, they can tell me how they would use it and so on. That's basically how I learned. And experimentation on myself. I experiment on myself all the time with herbs, and I've been absolutely blown away by what some of these herbs can do. I'll give you 2 examples. Number one, I once shattered my shoulder blade so badly, I went and got it x-rayed, and the doctor said to me, okay, you're going to have your arm in a sling for about 3 months, then we'll put you into physical therapy, and he said at the end of 6 months you'll have all the mobility back in your arm. I went home, I started gathering, there used to be some here, I started gathering comfrey in my backyard. Luckily I was growing it for the very purpose, and I made a compress out of it and put it on there every day for 2 weeks. And my shoulder was raw when I finished, because it creates a reaction, and even though I would put other things on in between, it's still, my shoulder was raw. But okay, after 2 weeks I stopped using it. About 3 days later I went into the doctor's office and I said to him, how's that for mobility? In 2.5 weeks I had got to the point where he said I'd be in 6 months. And that was the first time I realised how potent that plant was. And I've given it to friends ever since, and they have used it very successfully, very effectively. I could tell you story after story after story about herbs that have blown my mind over the years, but another one that really I find just mind-blowing also is, and it grows everywhere.
Plantain?
Good old plantain.
Okay.
Stopped such a bleed with that one time.
Oh, this is such a healing herb. And just recently I proved the theory of this. I was in the woods and somebody called to me. They needed me to move my car. So I'm rushing back to my car and I hit a rose bush and I got 2 slashes on the back of my hand. But I couldn't stop to do anything, so I rushed up to my car, I moved my car, and I thought, well, I'm in my car now, so I drove back home and I treated it at home, and by then I was covered in blood everywhere and it was a mess. The following day I was in the woods again, accidentally swiped against a rose bush and got 2 cuts, almost in the same spots. But this time I had the luxury. I stopped, I got some of this, screwed it up, put it on the cuts. Within 5 minutes the bleeding had stopped, and the next day you couldn't even tell I'd been cut. This hand was a mess for weeks. This one was practically cured the next day.